Work is supposed to be where we clock in, get paid, and make it home safely. But what happens when the workplace becomes a war zone? In this video, we're diving into 2 chilling cases where the daily grind turned into deadly encounters. From a construction site ambush in Philadelphia to a fatal factory shooting in Alabama, these stories show how unresolved tensions, overlooked warning signs, and betrayal in the workplace can lead to devastating consequences. On Saturday, May 8, 2021, on Mother's Day weekend, 31-year-old Tyrie Roundtree, a dad to a 1-year-old baby girl, headed to his job as a supervisor at a construction site. Sometime after 8:30 a.m., it was said that Tyrie arrived in a single-cabin work truck at the Walgreens at the intersection of Frankfort Avenue and Bridge Street to transport 25-year-old Naheem Williamson and Danette Blair, Naheem's cousin, to that day's work site, which was at 1600 block of West Granite Street in Philadelphia. On the way, Naheem had asked Tyrie to drive a block away from the site so that he can grab something from a house where the workers from the company frequent. When they arrive at the location, Naheem pulls out a gun, points it at Tyrie, and demands money. Tyrie had in his possession large sums of cash on his person, totaling $1,500, to pay workers and buy supplies for the construction company. The cousin, Danette, told Naheem, "Bro, what are you doing? Like, come on, bro. We're just going to work, bro. You're doing too much." Danette then hopped out of the truck. Once out, he heard a gunshot where Naheem shoots Tyrie and fled the scene. Danette called 911 and stayed with Tyrie until police arrived. Tyrie was rushed to Temple Hospital, where he later died from a single perforating gunshot wound to his lower back. Tyrie was one of 7 people who were shot and killed in the city of Philly, as it was a deadly Mother's Day weekend, where a total of 25 people were shot.
Mother's Day weekend proved to be violent across Philadelphia. 25 people were shot, 7 dying from their injuries, including a 31-year-old father to a 1-year-old little girl, Tyrie Roundtree.
Upon arrival, they observed the victim lying on the highway, suffering from a gunshot wound to the back.
His family was left to grieve his sudden death.
We are praying constantly for his justice.
As the family of Tyrie Roundtree is left to grieve.
He was loved tremendously.
Tyrie's sister remembering her older brother's ability to see the good in people.
If he ever came into the room, he was the person that uplifted everyone.
As she, along with 6 other families, are now tasked to bury a loved one gone too soon.
He did not deserve to die. Like, his time was just cut too short. And it's going to affect a lot of people ongoing. Like, pretty much no one is going to be the same.
Naheem, who had 8 prior arrests, was eventually apprehended and arrested on May 12, 2021.
25-year-old Naheem Williamson is facing charges of killing a co-worker at a construction site on Granite Street. Police say Tyrie Roundtree had $1,500 to pay the worker's wages, and according to investigators, Williamson tried to rob Roundtree and killed him just after 9 Saturday morning. Roundtree was the father of a 1-year-old little girl. Williamson was arrested Wednesday. Katie Johnston for CBSN, Philly.
He later gave a statement to police, claiming he was at home on the day of the incident, but then later claimed that his cousin was the shooter. He was later convicted of second-degree murder and robbery and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. 27-year-old Shenina Smith was a mom and fiancé who was employed at Lear Core Plant, which is a Mercedes-Benz supplier on Brookwood Parkway. On the night of August 4, 2019, around 8:30 p.m. before her shift, Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit were called to the plant in response to a reported shooting. Cops discovered Shenina on the ground. She was shot several times, including 3 times in the face, and she was pronounced dead at the scene. 6 co-workers were eyewitnesses to the shooting, pointing at 30-year-old Angela Mayo, their co-worker at the same plant, as the shooter. Angela had fled the scene, but later turned herself in. Angela claimed the reason she shot Shenina was because Shenina brushed up against her and has been picking on her at work for the last 8 months. In detail, Angela told investigators that Shenina had picked on her because she was faster on the assembly line and that Shenina couldn't keep up. What led up to Shenina's death, according to a coworker, was that Shenina had aggressively bumped Angela and said "excuse me" aggressively before Angela began firing. Angela said that she felt like her life was in danger, and it was said that she bought bullets for the gun that day and went to a shooting range the day before. It was also noted that neither of the women reported problems to human resources or to a supervisor.
I just want to know why.
Shenina Smith wants answers after her daughter was shot and killed inside this Tuscaloosa County plant Sunday night.
When I found out who it was, I just broke down and I just started crying.
Smith says her 27-year-old daughter, Shenina, went to work at the Lear Corporation just like she does every day, never dreaming it'd be the last time she ever saw her daughter.
Me and her sat here and watched TV together, and she got ready to go to work. And I asked her, I said, "Well, Shay," I said, "you take care of yourself." She said, "I'll see you in the morning, Ma."
Authorities say Angela Mayo shot and killed Shenina Smith. Court records allege Smith had been picking on Mayo at work the past few months. Documents show Smith brushed up against Mayo, and that's when Mayo shot Smith several times, standing over her. Shenina Smith says her daughter was anything but a bully.
She just the sweetest she can be. She's sweet. Sweet little girl I raised.
Shenina was the mother of a 3-year-old son and also engaged to be married. Her mother is holding it together for her grandson's sake.
Hold him up and talk to him, and I just had to stay strong for him every day.
Angela was charged with 1 count of murder and was held on a $150,000 bond. In November 2020, Angela was sent to Bryce Hospital after a judge deemed her incompetent to assist in her defense. She was then released from the hospital on March 9, 2021, and was deemed competent to stand trial. Angela decided to plead guilty, and during sentencing, prosecutors had asked for a life sentence, but her attorney asked for a 20-year sentence. She was instead sentenced to 50 years in prison and would be eligible for parole in 15 years.
So I just want to know, why did she do that to my child? Why did she do it?
On August 4th, 2019, Angela Mayo shot 27-year-old Shenina Smith 4 times after a morning meeting at their employer, Lear Corporation. Immediately after the shooting, Mayo drove straight to the Tuscaloosa Police Department and turned herself in. Nearly 2 years later, she entered a guilty plea in front of a courtroom full of Smith's family.
Truly, truly miss her. And I still love her always.
Mayo claimed Smith had been bullying her during their shifts together at Lear, although no complaints were ever filed by either party at their place of work.
I know she wasn't no bully to her, and I know she didn't push her around, and she did bump her. It didn't mean no harm by nobody bumping, because you bump people every day.
Mayo's defense asked that she be sentenced to 20 years in prison, claiming mental instability and lifelong trauma from being sexually abused at an early age. Prosecutors provided witness testimony that Mayo went to a shooting range the day before the murder and even bought ammunition on her way to work the day of the crime. The state asked that Mayo be sentenced to life in prison due to the calculation of the murder. Instead, Judge Roberts handed down a 50-year sentence.
I wanted life. Why? Because she killed my daughter. I just wanted her to have life without parole.
Shenina's mother, Shenina Smith, is helping raise Shenina's 5-year-old son. Mayo's sentencing came one day after Mother's Day.
It's been hard. It's been really hard for me and her son. I'm sorry, but he's not here today. He had to take a test at school today. I wish I could have brought him with me, but I wanted him to get school. But he told me before he left, he said he loved his mother and he wanted to be with her. He took the flower to her grave yesterday.
Smith's family was in court today wearing shirts with Shenina's name and pictures on them.
I wear her shirt because it's the closest thing I got to my heart, and I wear it just about every other day. It make me feel good about wearing her shirt for me, her, and her son, and her dad, and the rest of her family, her brothers and sisters. And I know they love her very much, just like I do, because I really love my daughter and I wish she was here with me.
The family of Shenina had also filed a $10 million wrongful death lawsuit against her killer and the company that employed them both. It was said that Shenina's mom, Regina Smith, filed on behalf of Shenina's son, who was 3 years old. According to the complaint, Angela had a history of harassing and threatening Shenina while the two worked together. Shenina's mom alleges that the company was aware of the abuse, that it was foreseeable that Angela would attack Shenina, and that the company did not have policies and procedures in place to prevent guns from being brought to work and to prevent workplace shootings. There has been no word as to whether they reached a settlement. These tragic stories are a grim reminder that danger doesn't always wait outside the office doors. It can be sitting right beside you. Tyrie Roundtree and Shenina Smith went to work expecting just another shift, but instead, their lives were stolen in places meant to provide stability and routine. It's best to stay aware, speak up, and look out for one another, because sometimes the most dangerous thing at work isn't the job itself, but the people we work with. That is all for now on these cases. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. See you next time on Melanin Mysteries.